Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
How can you even say?
Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather. Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Since TikTok is getting banned tomorrow, I have a confession to make. So that one time I set up a GoFundMe because I told you guys that my son was sick and I needed you guys to donate. Well, turns out he was never actually sick. We just needed the money to go to Disneyland. Hey guys, I just wanted to come on here and address a video that I posted last night that was highly taken out of context.
Well, guess you fell for my prank. You see, if you saw my last video where I said that I was lying about all of the content I was making and that I was making a lot of money off of a lie, you were probably like, dang man, that sucks. But what you didn't know until now is that was just a prank. That was just a silly joke that I was playing on you guys. Some people thought, man, you must have been taking advantage of this time to just kind of confess about lying and making a lot of money off of manipulating people on social media for years. But nope, I knew Trump was going to save the day, and so I was just playing a prank on you. And sorry if you fell for it, but that's what pranks are. They're fun, and they're goofy, and they're just pranks, and they're nothing more, and there's no truth to them at all. I've never lied to you. The only time I have is when I just said that I was lying in my last video. So thank you. I will continue being open and honest and my true authentic self to all of you, my fans who I know and I love. And stay tuned for more pranks and more content that is authentic and is not just so I can make money. All right. Love to all of you and yours, and stay fighting.
Hi, I'm Ash. I'm a social scientist and I make videos about sociological topics, and sometimes I make vlogs. In this video, we're going to be talking about the TikTok ban and all of that situation that went on earlier this year, and then why influencers decided to expose themselves with that Peter Griffin sound on TikTok specifically. So let's get into the video. Firstly, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who watched my latest video on the dead internet theory. Thank you so much. It means a lot. I'm such a small channel, so all of your comments, likes, subscribers, it's amazing, and thank you so much. If you do enjoy this type of content, sociology content, I guess social commentary, all of that stuff, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out because I am such a small channel. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, I'm sure you are all aware of the TikTok controversy that has been going on since 2020. Let's talk about that for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about why suddenly so many influencers decided to expose themselves, say that they were lying, and all the repercussions about that. And I know I'm late to the party, and most people made content about this a month ago, but I still wanted to talk about it, seeing as the end of the delay of the ban. I don't know how to say that. The 75-day delay ban end is coming up. So yeah. Now I did write a blog post about this on ashycakes.com, which I'll link below as well. I'll also make sure to link my other video that you all enjoyed so much, the dead internet theory, down below too, so you can check that out. So I'm just going to grab my iPad and get my blog up, and some of the stuff in the video is going to be a little bit different to the blog, so if you want to check out both, that's cool. Alright, so the origins of the TikTok ban stem from 2020 when Trump was first in office as president for the first time, and as we know, he's president again. And yes, I probably am quite biased because I tend to sit on the left, so I do apologize if this video is kind of leftist or biased in any way, but that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. So because there were potentially data concerns or concerns with privacy because of the app TikTok, Trump in 2020 called for a ban of it. He didn't specifically sign anything back there that I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, let me know. But he was the first person to say that he wanted a ban. And following this, in 2024, when President Joe Biden was president, he signed a bipartisan law that required the company in charge of TikTok, so which is ByteDance, to either sell their platform specifically to America or ban it completely. And after the app failed to sell, or I don't know if it's a failure from their perspective, but maybe a failure from an American's perspective, it went dark for about 12 to 14 hours, early January this year. I can't remember the specific date, but that doesn't really matter. And then obviously Trump got elected into office again, so it's his second time being president. Sorry, it's just so funny. He decided that he wanted to delay the ban. So he signed an executive order or whatever it's called so that the ban of the app would be delayed for 75 days. This was on January 20th, 2025. It is now March 25th, 2025. Those 75 days are coming up. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens with the ban. Whether it gets banned or whether it keeps getting delayed, anything like that. So that's kind of the backstory of it. And I'm not sure if it's available on app stores currently in the USA or things like that. Obviously, I am located in Australia and TikTok worked for me in Australia, and I believe it would work for me in New Zealand, where I'm from as well. That brings me to my next point about irony. I find it kind of ironic that Trump was the original person who wanted to ban TikTok in the first place. Now, the reason they wanted to ban TikTok is that they were concerned with things about data, things about privacy, potentially being worried about people's data being sold. I think that's the gist of it. But personally, I don't understand how you can be worried about issues of privacy and data concerns and security when you have someone like Mark Zuckerberg on your team. Now, the reason I say this is because do we not all remember what happened with Cambridge Analytica when Facebook was literally stealing your data? And yes, I know if we're social media users, we are now aware that our data is being taken and used and manipulated and all of that jazz. But I just find it so ironic that Trump was the original person who called for the ban and is now like, oh, the people are saying they want TikTok. Let's delay the ban. Even though we're concerned about privacy and security and data breaches and all of that. If you were really concerned, why would you have Mark Zuckerberg on your team? And I'm sorry if I'm yelling. I just don't understand. Like, does that not make sense? Have we all just forgotten that happened? And to me, as a social scientist, it's not really about privacy or data concerns or security breaches or anything like that. It's actually about censorship, control of information, control of misinformation, and just control in general. They want to own TikTok so that they can control what's on there. And TikTok is a platform that is genuinely super easy to go viral on. Not for me. I have no idea what I'm doing on the internet. I'm just here. My TikTok does not do well. We've all got to laugh at ourselves and put ourselves on the internet and do weird shit, okay? But misinformation and information can spread so quickly on TikTok. It's quite scary, like seeing the stuff that goes viral and the stuff that people believe. It's so scary. So we've established that it's about control of information and control of misinformation and censorship. It's like we are living in a real life Fahrenheit 451 or 1984. And potentially there may be an issue of racism, because why is it okay for someone like Mark Zuckerberg, who is a white straight male, to steal people's data, but it's not okay for someone else to do it who isn't white? And yes, I realize we are going down a dystopian tangent and all of that. Maybe TikTok isn't the problem. Maybe TikTok just actually has a better algorithm. And there's just so much fear-mongering about it. And it's just, I'm going off on a tangent. I just find it so funny. And obviously, TikTok did go down because it didn't want to sell to the USA. And that brings me to my next point. We're going to be talking about why influencers are exposing themselves and showing their lies. So at the start of this video, I showed an example TikTok of some people who were doing that trend where they used the Peter Griffin sound to expose themselves. Now, influencers exposing themselves is nothing new. It's been around for a while. We've definitely seen it a lot before, but I don't think we've seen it to this extent. It's very extreme. And following the announcement of the TikTok ban, when it went dark, many influencers took to TikTok to expose themselves, i.e. show the lies that they've been doing as their time as an influencer. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of the things online are fake, they're heavily curated, they're made to look a certain way. But what I find very fascinating about this is people who their whole niche is like vlogging or something like that, and they're suddenly like, no, that's not what actually my life looks like. My life is completely different. It was all fake. It was all for the cameras. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. What about if your audience is entirely like young people, young teenagers or preteens, people who are susceptible to believing things online? They might not have the critical thinking skills to be like, oh, maybe that's fake. They might actually spend their teenage years looking up to you and being like, oh my God, I want to be like them. I love their life, or I'm so fascinated by watching this content, it makes me happy. And then boom, 2025 hits and they're like, no, it was all fake. That's not my life. That's not actually what it's like. Like, why are you doing that to people who can't critically think about these things? Some other examples of influencers exposing themselves or exposing their fakeness are people like coffee influencers who never actually drink the coffee they make. Fitness influencers who don't actually do the workouts that they're doing. They actually get work done to make themselves look like that, so it's not the workout doing it. They might not eat all the food that they say they're going to eat, which is a waste. Makeup influencers who use or don't use as much product as they say they are using, so it could be a waste, could be underconsumption. It's just odd. And people who do mukbangs, not eating all the food in their videos and so on. So those are just some examples. And yes, I've talked about this before. I did write my master's thesis on social media as a new age religion. So I do realize that a lot of what we see on social media is heavily curated, crafted, made to look a specific way. This just feels like another level. Like, I feel like I'm just having a rant at a camera right now. And I personally feel like the less authenticity that we get as consumers of content, the less people are going to trust you as an influencer or content creator, and they're less likely going to buy your products. So why did the TikTok ban suddenly allow for influencers to do this trend? And if you want to look at it from a sociological perspective, the TikTok ban was likely a catalyst event. So X correlates to Y, or X causes Y. Obviously, correlation doesn't equal causation, but in this case, it's kind of clear that the TikTok ban was like the thing that led to these influencers exposing themselves. Now, the trend did start off relatively lightheartedly enough. Like, it was just like silly little things, but then it just got so much bigger. Like, did these influencers not think about the repercussions on other platforms, or whether they would lose their audience? Did they just not think about it? Did they not think that they would lose their followers? Let's talk about some factors that might have led to influencers participating in this trend about exposing their lies and why they might have done it. So the factors that led to influencers exposing themselves are as follows. The belief in the absence of consequences. As the possibility of the platform vanishing looms, influencers might experience reduced pressure to uphold their meticulously crafted online personas, resulting in more open revelations. The final opportunity to connect. Some creators may view this as their last chance to be entirely transparent with their audience before the platform disappears. The next factor is drive engagement or rage bait. We all know about rage bait. Influencers may believe that they're doing something like this will drive up their engagement, or people may look at it as rage bait and comment on it and drive more engagement. And for the views, which is the same as above, self-sabotage, this is a big one. And I think it's an important factor to consider, because fear of change can correlate to someone partaking in self-sabotage behaviors and losing your favorite platform, following a misogynist criminal, being in power. I don't personally blame them. And the final factor is just riding a trend. Just following other creators like sheep. And I normally don't like talking about people like sheep, but in this case, some of y'all are just kind of dumb with what you're doing. Like, exposing that is just ruining your whole career, so you kind of are like sheep. And I have so many questions about this. Like, what are you doing? A lot of these influencers who have exposed themselves in this way are popular on other platforms like YouTube and Instagram, and all the other platforms. I don't get why they are suddenly so surprised that none of their audience trusts them anymore. Did you see how many alternative platforms started popping up when TikTok was banned for a day? Like, you've got Lemon8, you've got, what's the other one? Red Note. There's so many alternatives. And I feel like they're constantly creating new platforms. And let me explain this a bit better. Like, let's imagine you're a teenager and something gets banned at your high school, wherever you are. It just makes you want that so much more. Let's say smartphones were banned at a high school that you're at. You're going to find a way to still be able to use a phone, because you're a teenager and that's just how it works. If it's banned, people want it more. It's like a banned book, a banned movie. Like, come on. So basically, if TikTok does eventually get banned in the USA, there's just going to be more platforms that pop up to replace it. It's like creative destruction in real life. And yes, it is really sad and awful for small businesses on TikTok who that is their, like, where their small business does the best, or how they promote their business. But it is important as a small creator to diversify income streams, diversify where you post content. So maybe move over to YouTube, move over to Instagram, post on multiple platforms, all of that. These exposed lies are on the internet forever. And yes, you may have been like, oh nah, I was just kidding, or oh nah, let's delete that. I feel like I'm slowly getting an Australian accent. I've lived in Australia for 3 years now. That's crazy, cupcakes. Anyway, going off tangent. So let's say an influencer puts something up and exposes their lies. That video is now up. Someone could screen record it. Someone could download it before you decided to delete it. And this might come back to haunt you later on in life. This vlog is more of like stream of consciousness style, so I do apologize if that isn't your thing. But I do personally think that our attention spans are a lot shorter than they used to be, especially when we do want to watch Instagram Reels, when we want to watch TikToks, when we want to watch YouTube Shorts, or we want to watch short clips on TV shows. It's hard to be as invested into something as we might have used to have been. Is that even a sentence? You know what I mean, anyway. Why are we all so shocked at this trend? It wasn't hard to see coming. I personally am kind of shocked that people are so ignorant when it comes to things like this, that they would literally throw their careers away. But one study from Luma Aho et al. 2019 highlighted how sponsored content can impact audiences' views on influencers' authenticity. For example, influencers who primed their sponsored content in a positive way were more likely to be perceived as more authentic, and vice versa. So if you talk about a product and you are positive about it, you're giving it good reviews, your audience are more likely to try it or buy it. So what are the lessons we should take away from the TikTok ban controversy and the trend of influencers exposing themselves? Lessons are that we shouldn't trust everything we see online. I mean, we do still have to trust some things we see, but we should look at them with a more critical analysis. We have to be mindful, especially of young people's impressionable mind, and influencers should be careful in how they are manipulating their audiences to purchase a product. And they also have to be mindful that parasocial relationships don't always go both ways. And lastly, if something is going to be banned, we're just going to find another way to get it or create something new, just as creative destruction occurs. On that note, I want to leave you with one last word of wisdom, which may just be misremembered Green Day lyrics. Although I always thought this was a profound quote. Question everything or shut up and become a victim of society, with the real Green Day lyric actually being authority rather than society. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed discussing topics such as sociological things like the TikTok ban, controversy, and why influencers are exposing themselves, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot if you would support me on this small content creator journey. I'm Ash, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye!